school 7th grade block data team that has come together to review their writing data collected in the fall of the school year. Let's listen in. As you observe, watch to see if the group follows the appropriate data team processes. There's a 5-step process that we use. First, collect and chart data, analyze strengths and obstacles, then establish goals, set, review, and revise, determine results indicators, and finally, evaluate your effectiveness. Let's watch the team in action.
Okay. Well, thank you all for being here on time. I will be facilitating this meeting, and Rinda will be our data analyst. Who would like to be note taker?
Oh, I will.
Thanks, Deb. That's great. Timekeeper?
I can do that.
Okay, Kathy. And how about a process observer?
I'll do that.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Well, why don't we go ahead and review our norms? Annalicia, would you read our norms for us?
Absolutely. So, everyone, we begin and end on time. Everyone is present and participating fully. Everyone on our team gets a chance to speak and be heard, listen deeply, check assumptions, voice concerns within our team meeting, and decision making is made with a consensus.
Great. Well, we will use the following steps to frame our meeting today. We've already completed step 1, which is the collect and chart data, and it's ready for our team to review. Then we'll move on to the analyzing of the strengths and obstacles we see. We'll establish a SMART goal, move on to determine our results indicators, and then we'll evaluate our effectiveness at the end. Is that all right with folks?
Sure.
All right. Rinda, I'm going to turn it over to you to take us through the data.
Okay, thank you. Today we're looking at the results of the writing screening we gave to our students the first week of school. We selected expository prompts, and all of our students completed the writing work sample, which we scored as a team. 326 students completed the assessment. As I report on the data, we're going to project it on the screen up here, and we can all view it together. We agreed earlier to focus our attention first on the 4 required traits, so we're going to wait to analyze the results for voice and word choice until a later meeting. So let's look at ideas and contents. The first column, 83% of the students meet or exceed the standard, and 16% are at the nearly meets level. For organization, 79% of the students meet or exceed the standard, 18% are at the nearly meets level, but we still have 3% scoring low in organization. For sentence fluency, it looks like we have a bit of a problem. While 70% of the students meet or exceed the standard, look how many fewer students are in the exceeds group. Almost 1/4 of our population are in the nearly meets level for sentence fluency, and there are those students in the low and very low categories. For conventions, it's almost identical to sentence fluency. So now that we've looked at the data, what are your thoughts or questions?
Well, it's nice to see that 80% of our kids are earning a 4 or higher in ideas and content.
And there's almost 80% that meet or exceed in organization.
But look what's happening with sentence fluency and conventions. I'm worried that 25% are scoring 3 or below in fluency and conventions.
Well, yeah, I didn't realize that sentence fluency was that much of a problem. I expected conventions to be our lowest by far. So I would suggest that we tackle sentence fluency first.
Yeah, I agree. We need to look more closely at these papers.
But 326 papers are a lot to analyze at this step.
What if we looked at half of the papers in the nearly meets group and all of the lows to see what we can learn?
Well, that would look like about 100 papers. If we divided the papers up, we'd each have about 15 to analyze.
Well, then can we take a look at the classroom assessment analysis chart and put that off to our next meeting? And what we'll agree to, if it's okay with the group, that we'll fill in our students' names appropriately and bring it to that session. Great.
But can't we get started on some targeted instruction right away? I mean, even those kids that are meeting the standard and scoring the 4, most of them are just right at that meets category. Very few are exceeding.
Let's see if a 3-week focus on sentence fluency in our language arts block classes makes a difference. We could have students write a paragraph at the end of the 3 weeks, then score them only on sentence fluency.
So what would we want to set as a goal?
Well, what if we set 80% of the students below the standard, moving up, say 1 score point in sentence fluency as our goal.
Okay.
Yeah, and this would, tell us if our instruction is having an effect. And then we will need to continue to teach sentence fluency throughout the year and then analyze the results on longer pieces.
Well, why don't we write this as a SMART goal? Mary Ann, would you flip the document camera over so we can take a look at that format? And why don't you go ahead and walk us through the process? And Deb, as a note taker, would you also capture it in our minutes for us? So what would we want to use as a results indicator?
Oh, we could collect a paragraph writing sample from each student after 3 weeks. That'd be October 18th.
So everyone check your calendars. Can we meet to score the paragraphs for sentence fluency on October 20th and then review the data at our regular meeting for October 24th?
Sure.
That works for me.
Okay.
Okay, so let me make sure we get this down. So by October 18th, students in 7th grade scoring below the standard in sentence fluency here at ABC Middle School. Okay, so now our performance level, we want 80%, right, of that
Yes.
group
Yes.
to move up 1 score point. Again, in sentence fluency,
Mm-hmm.
as evidenced by paragraph writing completed by October 18th. Okay, did I capture that correctly?
I think it's great.
Okay.
Wonderful. Well, now that we've set our SMART goal, why don't we spend some time talking about instruction?
Mhm.
You know, we have some effective instructional strategies, including sentence combining and sentence manipulation and using good models. How about we focus on these strategies?
And we can do sentence combining in either our language arts time or our social studies time during block. And let's ask the science and health teachers to join us. If they had students do some sentence manipulation based on what they're currently studying, it would help reinforce the idea of interesting sentences, and it'll help the kids remember their content better.
Mhm.
I have some activities I could offer those teachers that are highly engaging and easy to implement.
Oh, that's great.
Wonderful. So let's be sure that we talk to the special ed and ELL teachers so we can all focus on this goal together.
You know, I have a meeting with special programs on Thursdays, so I can pass this message along to them.
Thank you.
That would help. Well, can we all agree then to complete sentence combining lessons within our own blocks?
Mhm.
Nice.
Yeah.
Great.
And then if we go ahead and enlist the science and health teachers to do those sentence manipulation activities Deb suggested in their classes. So I could go ahead and contact them.
Good.
Deb, have you captured all this in our minutes?
Yes, I'll email it to everyone as soon as we're finished.
Wonderful.
Good, I feel good about this plan.
Me too, I'm ready to get started.
Yeah, and I'll share the sentence manipulation strategies with the science and the health teachers tomorrow.
Okay.
Oh, that's great. Well, I think we've wrapped up, so why don't we go ahead and evaluate our meeting? Mary Ann, you're the process observer. Can you give us feedback?
Sure. You know, we stuck to the agenda and everybody participated, so thank you all. We made efficient use of our time. We established a SMART goal using the data that Rinda had analyzed for us. We've got a good plan for instruction and for further data collection.
That's great. Well, we already have established a few items for our next meeting, and we've got that captured in the minutes. So send me any other agenda items that you think we should include in our next meeting, and then I'll get that out to you before we have our next session. Thank you so much, everyone, for being here on time and all the hard work.
Thank you.
Thank you.